Hello, everyone. We are delighted to be here with you today to talk about the European health data space and its issues and challenges for the coming years. My name is Marguerite Brac de la Perrière. I am a partner at FIELDFISHER. I have been a lawyer specializing in digital health for over 15 years with a focus on data protection and life sciences. And my expertise particularly includes the reuse and the AI. So Emmanuel, could you please introduce yourself and describe your current position and responsibilities?
Yes, thank you. So I'm Emmanuel Bacry. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer of the Health Data Hub, which is a national French platform for facilitating access to health data for public interest research. So that's my main position. I'm also a researcher in AI, and I have some other positions, but here today I'm here as representative of the Health Data Hub. Okay, great, thank you. The European Health Data Space regulation is the first sector implementation of the Data Governance Act. It was a Data Governance Act which was adopted on the 23rd of June 2022. The EHDS regulation was adopted by the European Parliament on 24th of April 2024. This regulation aims to create a unified framework for the secure and efficient sharing of health data across the European Union. More specifically, this regulation aims to establish the European health data space to improve access to personal electronic health data for healthcare purposes. This is called the primary use of health data. It is the Chapter 1 of the EHDS regulation. And second purpose, it is to achieve broader goals in healthcare that benefit society with secondary use of health data for such as research, innovation, of course, policy making, health threat preparedness, patient safety, personalized medicine. So this is our main issue today we want to talk about. Additionally, just for you to know, the objective is also to establish a consistent legal and technical framework for the development, marketing, and utilization of electronic health record, EHR, systems. This is the chapter 3, and this is like a condition for the reuse to happen. The EHDS regulation will enter into force 20 days after its publication, and its application will begin 4 to 6 years after this date. Additionally, implementing acts will be adopted within 2 years of this regulation and enter into force. So, implementing acts will be adopted by the European Commission to harmonize the diverse national frameworks and ensure a cohesive approach across the EU. And the EHDS is a key component in the creation of a strong and resilient European Health Union supported by 2 key infrastructures, My Health at EU for the primary use of health data and Health Data at EU for the secondary use of health data. So, Emmanuel, regarding the technical and scientific aspects and these 2 key infrastructures, what conditions need to be met for the successful implementation of the EHDS? Yeah, so it's a very ambitious project, so there are many conditions, but I'll name just, let's say, main 4 conditions. So I would name build a robust infrastructure. So in the large sense, so meaning robust network infrastructure, but also compute infrastructure. It's not clear yet whether there will be a compute infrastructure at the European level, but that's for sure that there will be nodes with compute infrastructure. So state of the art in terms of for this infrastructure in terms of computational power, but also of course in terms of cybersecurity, which is of course extremely important. So that would be my first point. Second point would be set up access procedures, access to data that are harmonized
over all the different countries. We are all the European countries are under GDPR, but the fact is that if you are asking access today to Finland, France, data, and so on, the procedures are totally different, and it's the pain in the neck for the person who wants to do that. So the forms are different, and the whole procedure to access the data is different. So this is a very important thing, is to have a centralization of the service and centralization and the homogenization of the whole user journey to go to and to access the data. Then the third point is, of course, about data. So being able to standardize large amount of data and making them interoperable, this is huge work, okay? I mean, we are at a conference that is called AI for Health. I consider personally that the revolution in AI for health, but it's true also for other verticals, is mainly about revolution of data. I'm not so sure that, I mean, this is the main impact. This is where we're going to have the main impact. It's not inventing new methodologies of AI. Of course, there is a little bit of that too, but I think that the major part of this revolution is about setting up databases that are standardized, high quality, and interoperable. And this is not very good news because this is very hard. Okay, it doesn't make things simpler. So that's the third thing. And fourth thing, very simple, is like we need money. And so we need a lot of money to set up this whole thing, and we hope that we will have it.
Okay. So in France, significant work has been done in the secondary use of health data. Notably, the French Supervisory Authority, the CNIL, has adopted a reference framework to define the requirements for health data warehouses and streamline the formalities for public healthcare institutions. The MR004 reference methodology also permits the reuse of health data without the need for CNIL authorization. Financial support totaling 50 millions of euros distributed across 3 waves of SCOL for project is allocated to public and private healthcare institutions to support the establishment or consolidation of health data warehouse. Emmanuel, could you please explain how the health data participates and contributes at both the national and European levels in the secondary use of health data?
Sure. So this is something to be led in parallel. I mean, it's very important that we work at a national level, and at the same time, there is no time to wait. So it's not like everybody should be ready at the national level and then we go for a European level. We have to work at the same time because it's urgent to go there. So we are actually part of many initiatives at the national level. So the one that you mentioned with the health institutions, and so we are operating this call for project for building data warehouses in health institutions. This is extremely important. Again, it is extremely important to have at the national level interoperable databases in different data warehouses. So this is something we have to work on right now. And at the same time, we are involved in many European level projects. So let me name a few of them. So maybe the one that took us, we were very busy with for the last 2 years is Health Data at EU, so which is the pilot of the European health data space for secondary use. Okay, so we were leader, and we are still leader. It's going to end at the end of the year. We are leader of this. We're mandated by the Commission to lead the deployment and the deployment of this pilot that is here to test how to build. So it's a pilot, test how to build this European data space for secondary use. And the goal was to identify the bottlenecks and you know, what is working, what is not working, and so on. So we've been working on that for 2 years now with 17 or 18 different 18 partners, European partners. We have with us 8, apart from France, we have 8 national platforms, so equivalent to the Health Data Hub. future health data access bodies for most of them. So these are the entities that you will have to go to in order to get access, the national entities, in order to get access to the data from the different countries. We have EMA with us, ECDC, and some European or international infrastructure for research. So many actors. And as I told you, we are almost at the end. So we already succeeded in some achievements. So we have built a network infrastructure. As of today, France, Denmark, and Finland are connected. And by the end of the year, Germany and Belgium should be connected too. So we haven't succeeded within 2 years. 2 years is very, very short, okay, to connect all the 9 national platforms. But we will have 5. Yeah, we will have 5 by the end of the year. We have built a standard for metadata. So it's based on European standards for data, for metadata in general, not in health, which is called DCAT. And we built the extension of DCAT for health. So it's called Health DCAT. So it's a standard for exposing your metadata. So all the health data access bodies will be exposing the metadata of the health data using this standard Health DCAT. You can find it now on the web. You have a page. There is a Git that defines all this standard. And of course, we started standardizing some of the database that we used in our pilot to test the standard. And there will be, at the end of the year, a central service where so it's a test central service. I don't know how open it will be, but ultimately, this is something that should be totally open. That will enable everybody to send some queries on the metadata of the data available on the network. Okay, so this will be a central service of the future European health data space, of course. I have time for another project. So I want to speak about another project we are leading that is starting beginning of next year. It's called Shaped. Again, it's a project within the European health data space, and we are leading a consortium of 30, I think, different actors. There are startups, national platforms, health institutions. So the role of this project is to understand the role that will play these national platforms in the life cycle of medical devices involving AI. Okay, from development to deployment in the health institution. So we have several use cases. I haven't mentioned, sorry, but of course we run some use cases in the pilot of health data space, of course. But here we have several use cases that will test the different steps of this life cycle. And just to name one of them, we are going to help health institutions to choose the solution, the medical device they need, because whenever they want to select a medical device because they have a need, it's the pain in the neck for them to understand which one. So they would test arbitrarily 3 of them, and after 2 weeks testing it, they will decide, but not on very precise evaluation. So we are going to set up some validation databases and so on at a European level in different countries, so that we will be able to test medical devices. So this is one example of another project we're involved in, a major project, and of course in synergy with the AI Act. So there are also some work to be done with this project to understand the synergy between the 2 regulations. And I will finish by mentioning one action we are not leading, but which is very important. We are part of it, which is TEDAS2, which is towards the European health data space, and that's the second opus of this joint action. It is led by Finland. And the objective of this joint action is to basically to build all the guidelines of how to deploy the European health data space. So it will be pretty practical in terms of setting up the different steps to go toward this health data space. We, as a French platform, we are collaborating to the work package on safe and secure processing, and also on the valorization, but I think we'll talk about that, all the problems linked with the valorization. Just to finish, for the pilot, of course, the goal of the pilot is to test and where to identify the bottlenecks. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. We knew where the bottlenecks were going to be, and that's exactly what happened. You know, the bottlenecks is it's too long to access health data. We started. It was a 2-year project. We started accessing the data for the use cases a year and a half after, more or less, something like that. It depends on the countries, of course. Some of them are faster. Nobody's fast. Some of them are less slow, and so this is one major bottleneck. And of course, the other one is interoperability of the data. It's not interoperable, you know, to make it short. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Just to finish, please, let's talk about the hot issue here. Under Article 33 of the regulation, health data holders are required to make electronic data available for secondary use. However, the provisions regarding the fees that data holders can charge for making health data available to data users are limited to compensating for the cost incurred in compiling and preparing the electronic health data. Emmanuel, could you please explain how data holders, particularly the French health data warehouse controllers, will continue to be incentivized to pursue their initiatives?
Very briefly, please.
Well, sorry. Yeah, short. So I don't know the definite answer to that question. Of course, it is under construction. You know, on one hand, clearly, we want data to be shared. I mean, and most of the data is financed by public money, so it's very natural that everything should be shared and that people should not make money out of that, or at least a lot of money out of that. It seems natural. And on the other hand, of course, we don't want to kill innovation. It's always this problem with this regulation, European regulation. We're always very afraid of how to regulate. Do we regulate too much and not too much? This is one question that, of course, is still open. And this valorization problem, of course, we will have to pay to access the data. How much everybody is working on this grid. We are working at a national level. Europe is working at a European level. Will it be sufficient or not? Well, it's work to be done. We'll see.